I got a response to my last video where I stated it was a Tulsi Gabbard clone who was in the TMZ interview for this month. This is May 2019. And here's what they said. I liked her answer. Her point was simply that people should be involved, even if they're Hollywood celebrities, and people should speak up. This is very consistent with her views expressed in the recent Joe Rogan interview, where she defended the right of conservative voices to not be excluded from the conversation by being banned from Facebook. And this was by Alan Myron, Myron at YouTube. And I would like to respond to this. When Tulsi gives a politically correct answer, she usually adds an original twist and never comes across as an unreasoning fanatic. There was nothing original about the Tulsi Gabbard clone's response to the Georgia abortion law. It was canned and did not reflect deep thought, which Tulsi puts into her decisions. Tulsi refuses to be put in a box. Also, Tulsi doesn't give a flip about being a cuck to Hollywood or to the rich and powerful, and I doubt would want to create the impression that she supports an extremist, unbalanced response by cucking to the rich and powerful in Hollywood as a way to get across her point to the abortion issue. This is where she's superior to Bernie Sanders because she's a better communicator than Bernie. Some of Bernie's supporters discredited him by their fanatical, low-intelligent behavior. Tulsi does not encourage this. Tulsi always appeals to the little guy, not to the rich and powerful, to make her point, especially on controversial issues. Talking about surfing as her inspiration for her environmental passion is a shallow answer, not Tulsi. And agreeing with an extremist, mentally ill response, women refraining from sex to make a message, to an unfair abortion bill, is also not Tulsi. What I admire about Tulsi is that she is balanced, reasonable, and deeply intelligent. Definitely not the Tulsi in the TMZ video. She's pretty practical and would not endorse refraining from sex as a way to get across a message. Those are the thoughts of an unbalanced, mentally ill fanatic. Definitely not Tulsi. Tulsi could see that if she endorsed abstinence from sex to protest something, she would come across as an irrational fanatic and not the balanced, deeply thoughtful, intelligent woman she is. It would lose her those with more centrist, moderate views and those who think for themselves. Tulsi's not this dumb or shallow and does not reflect a groupthink response to problems, which is why people like Tucker Carlson on Fox News have interviewed her. Another thing, Tulsi's a healer, not a divider, and would prefer to engage in an intelligent discussion over this than to appeal to an emotional, unbalanced response, which would only serve to cause those on both sides to just entrench themselves more deeply into their views. You can't change minds when you appear to be an unreasoning fanatic, and Tulsi knows this. She doesn't waste her time arguing with fanatics, but tries to appeal to those who are thinkers and refuse to be boxed or compartmentalized. She will rebuke fanatics if they're in a position of leadership and she wants to expose their shams, like calling Trump Saudi Arabia's bitch, and this is mainly a way to make it plain what should already be obvious. But recommending that one abstain from sex is not something the real Tulsi would endorse as a way to make a point. It only appeals to those with a groupthink mentality who think that by ganging up on the opposition they can win. Tulsi knows this is a losing way to get across a point or get things done, that it only reinforces the stereotypes that conservatives have about liberals. Tulsi's not this shallow and stupid. She would rather sit down across a table and try to calmly discuss this and force some rationality into the discussion. If she perceives this would not work, then she'd be silent until she's given a forum where she can explain her views in a manner that won't put her in a box. The short, unthinking response of the clone, which was a shallow groupthink response, is definitely not Tulsi. Tulsi's against labels and stereotypes and would do all she can to ensure she can't be compartmentalized. Behaving like an unthinking fanatic would only serve to reinforce the stereotypes that conservatives have about socialists, quote unquote. And if there's anything Tulsi hates, it's being put into a box. No, this person who claims to be Tulsi in that TMZ interview is a Tulsi Gabbard clone, and most definitely does not reflect the deep thought and intelligence of a woman who refuses to be put into a box and who refuses to cuck to the rich and powerful in her bid for the US presidency. And that's why everybody loves her. Tulsi always appeals to the little guy, and except the deep state. Except the deep state and the rich and powerful who don't want to lose all their money. They don't love her because she's threatening their gravy train. Tulsi always appeals to the little guy and takes pride in this. She doesn't give a flip what the rich and powerful think, whether they be Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump or a rich and powerful Hollywood celebrity. The Tulsi Gabbard in the Joe Rogan interview, which she just did, I think like on the 13th of this month, May 13th, Joe Rogan, was impressive, balanced, thoughtful, courageous, anti-groupthink, and very deeply thought out. The Tulsi Gabbard in the TMZ interview, done on the same day, I believe, was a joke, fanatical, shallow, cucking to the rich and powerful, is showing groupthink, and saying something that any liberal could have said, even a dork who couldn't graduate from high school, not a viable candidate for US president like the impressive Tulsi Gabbard.